What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Gakis, and today we are going to be showcasing the 5 biggest, juiciest, most impactful changes coming to Destiny 2 with the launch of the upcoming Edge of Fate expansion. Now, I should note, as you can see from the background gameplay, this perspective is coming from someone who actually got to play the Edge of Fate early. I got to experience the new mechanics, the new weapons, the new location, and more. So a huge thank you to Bungie for bringing me out to the studio and making all this possible. And so, let's get started. Now, importantly, right off the bat, guys, the Edge of Fate is the start of a whole new saga within Destiny 2. So there are a lot of big things we are talking about. We are going in ascending order of importance based on my opinion, but trust me, all 5 of these things are huge. And a lot of them are overhauls to the core game experience, so they're going to impact everyone whether or not you bought the Edge of Fate. So keeping all that in mind, let's begin here with thing number 5, and that is the new tiering system. So every single weapon and armor piece in the game moving forward will be part of this new system, meaning you can get this particular auto rifle as a tier 1 or a tier 2. Or a tier 3? How about tier 4? And finally, a tier 5. And you can see with that weapon there, a very obvious example of how every tier is going to improve upon the previous one, and with tier 5 being the ultimate chase item for players. Now, overall, guys, this is again a monumental change to the core system. There's going to be no more adept weapons. That doesn't mean that your current adept weapons will just disappear out of your inventory per se, but moving forward, there's no more adept weapons. There's no more artifice armor. It is all just the different tiers. Now, at tier 5, the new loot we're getting offers more than the existing best loot in the entire game. A tier 5 weapon, for example, now comes with all enhanced mod slots. Even adept weapons only had a small subset of adept mods. Now every mod is just enhanced. Not to mention, you also get enhanced barrel and magazine perks. Even the origin trait will be enhanced, and you have new appearance and customization features as well, including an ornament and even a special on-kill effect that you can toggle on or off. So overall, again, the loot is just getting a new step up, and it is going to be something that a lot of people are going to want to chase. Now, moving on from there, guys, for thing number 4, that's going to be the new Kepler location. In my experience, Kepler is going to bring a different feel, a different vibe, a different experience than previous new destinations. Mainly, that is due to the new mechanics that are involved in exploration and puzzle solving. And there is a definite emphasis on puzzle solving this time around, guys. In the background gameplay, I'm going to be showing a puzzle that required me to use several of these Kepler mechanics, like in the right order, to figure it out. So you have Matter Spark, where you turn into a ball, you are crawling through spaces and corridors that you wouldn't normally be able to reach. You're trying to figure out, like, okay, if I can go into a ball through here and come out there, like, how can I then use that vantage point to get to this next place, to get to this secret chest? And then you're combining that with the relocator cannon, which allows you to teleport. So you're like using Matter Spark to shock up a generator, which allows you to unlock the relocator cannon to shoot to a teleportation area so you can get to a different place and unlock a place to travel with your Matter Spark and get to a new area. Oh, and on top of that, you also have this like dark matter mechanic where you are inhaling this spore, and then you are throwing essentially like strand melees to create bridges and complete, for example, areas you can go with the Matter Ball. There is so much you can do here with these new mechanics, and again, it is going to cause a different feel. Now, to be honest, I don't know how this feel will be perceived. Some players are going to love it, like sitting there and actually not having your hand held, and you're gonna just have to figure out how to solve this puzzle to progress in the campaign, for example, and other players are going to hate it. This is not a traditional campaign. Again, it has those puzzle-solving, dungeon-like mechanics that a lot of previous campaigns really didn't have. But hey, love it or hate it, it will be a noticeable change. Moving on from there, thing number 3 is new stats. Yes, all of the current stats, resilience, mobility, etc., they are being completely overhauled in the Edge of Fate. Some of them are changing, some of them are going away entirely, and we have brand new stats with new effects. But not only that, the way the entire stat system works is getting overhauled. So no longer do you have to get to multiples of 10 for there to be an effect on your build. Now every single point matters. So if your melee stat is 50 and it goes to 51, your melee will charge a bit faster. But on top of that, the cap is no longer 100. You can go to 200 of a certain stat, and from 0 to 100, there's one effect, and from 100 to 200, there's a different effect for that stat. So here are all of the new Edge of Fate stats and what they do. First of all, guys, we have health. This is going to influence how much health you get from an orb and also influence your flinch resistance. When it's over 100, you have more shield recharge and bigger shields against combatants. Then for melee, before 100, it's going to influence your melee recharge speed, and then after 100, which I am, it influences your melee damage. Moving on from there, for grenade, before 100 is your grenade recharge speed, after 100 is your grenade damage. For your super, same thing. Then you have class. So before is your class ability recharge rate, after 100, you're actually going to gain an overshield when you use your class ability, and that overshield will be more powerful the more points you have. And then finally, for weapons, it will actually influence your reload speed and handling, as well as your damage against minor and major combatants in PvE below 100, and then above 100, ammo bricks from defeated targets have a chance to contain additional rounds, and it increases weapon damage against bosses and opposing guardians in the Crucible. So yeah, massive changes there, and it's going to be a colossal impact on build crafting. But speaking of, moving to thing number 2, that has got to be the armor overhaul. So we've had changes to armor in the past with Armor 2.0 and Shadow Keep and so on, but this is maybe the biggest change we've ever had. Armor in the Edge of Fate is nothing like the armor in-game right now. First of all, you'll notice it comes with set bonuses. That's right, armor has actual set bonuses for the 2-piece and the 4-piece. Now, in this example I'm using right here, the Bushido armor, well, the 2-piece bonus will actually give you healing if you use a recently drawn or reloaded weapon, and the 4-piece bonus will give you damage resistance if you're getting kills with bows, shotguns, or swords, which you can definitely, quickly draw, but especially with bows, you're reloading every single shot. So this is an amazing set for bow users. Use one of the cracked bows, an exotic bow, for example, in the game. The Trinity Ghoul is a great one. And then every single shot you're going to be healing, you're going to be increasing your damage resistance. Like, the build crafting potentials with these new set bonuses are crazy, but that is just scratching the surface. If you get higher tier armor, tier 4 and 5, you have access to 11 energy. So what mods are even possible to put on your build? That changes completely. We have new mod combinations we could have never had before. On top of that, you have a new mod tuning slot, which will allow you to give you +5 in a stat you want, but also give you -5 in a different stat. So again, getting to those 200 stat bonuses, getting that Omega effect is more possible than ever because every single armor piece has the potential of giving you +5 towards a stat you want. And on top of that, guys, the entire stat distribution system is changing as well. So we no longer just have random stats. Instead, we have a new armor archetype system where you will get a guaranteed primary stat and secondary stat, and then the third stat is just completely random. So here are the 6 new armor archetypes you can get in the Edge of Fate. First of all, you have Grenadier. So primary stat Grenade, secondary stat Super. You can see the distribution right here in the corner. Now, the third stat spike is completely random, it's just not the primary or secondary stat. Then after Grenade, we have Brawler, primary stat Melee, secondary stat Health. After that, Gunner, primary stat Weapons, secondary stat Grenade. After that, Specialist, primary stat Class, secondary stat Weapons. Then you have Paragon, primary stat Super, secondary stat Melee. And finally, you have Bulwark, primary stat Health, secondary stat Class. Now, will this new system be better than just completely random rolls? I honestly don't know. It is going to make build crafting easier in the sense of, hey, you're making a melee build, you want your melee stat to be 200, well then you're just going for brawler gear. You don't have to get super omega lucky and get a 30 strength spike. As long as you get brawler, you're going to get that strength spike no matter what. Now, it is a 1 in 6 chance to get it, but that's better than the chances we have in the game right now, certainly. And personally, I have not cared about armor since I farmed the absolute crap out of the Duality Dungeon and got every Artifice armor roll I ever needed, and so I am very excited to actually care about 50% of the loot I'm getting again. But moving on from there, guys, thing number 1, the most impactful change coming to Destiny 2 with the launch of the Edge of Fate is going to be the new difficulty and leveling system. Now, this is not a cop-out where I'm squeezing two things into one. These are very much intertwined to the point that they're inseparable. Leveling and the difficulty system are going together hand in hand. Here's how it works. So the biggest example of how big of a change this is that when you log on, when the Edge of Fate releases, you're going to be 10 power level. That is it. Now, the process to increase this power level is pretty similar to what it is right now in the game. You go forth and acquire higher power level gear, and you either equip that or infuse it into existing gear. However, there's two distinct power bands. First of all, there is up to power 200, that is the permanent band. So once you get to 200 for all your gear, that is going to stick with you, it's not going to reset. Then you have your seasonal power, and this will reset at the end of the season, and you can actually see these two distinct power bands in a piece of gear. So as you can see right here, you have like a black permanent number and then the blue seasonal number in terms of this overall gear's power level. Now, why am I increasing my power level? What's the point? Well, it all has to do with that difficulty system. So now, essentially every single activity in the game is much more customizable in terms of difficulty. So right here, I'm selecting a solo ops mission. This is a very simplistic, somewhat quick activity. Again, it's meant for solo players. But I have a bunch of different difficulties I can choose from. And then when I pick a difficulty, I can actually go in and further alter the modifiers this difficulty has preset. So I can make this significantly easier. I can put on stuff like arc singe, so I'm doing more arc damage or whatever. And if I do that, you can see off to the right, changing the modifiers will influence the quality of my loot. So if I make it harder, if I play on a harder difficulty or an easier difficulty with harder modifiers selected, the quality of my loot is going to go up in two ways. First of all, it will be higher and higher power level. So you get bigger power level jumps if you do the hardest difficulties you can. Also, the quality of gear is going to go up. So the tier of the gear is going to go up. You're going to see that right here. Like I get this all the way to an A rating. It's like, this is like the best you can achieve essentially with these modifiers. And now I'm getting tier 3 drops. But the most important thing is that because every activity has this same difficulty system, how you level up from 0 to max, or I should say from 10 to max, you can do it anywhere. So if I want to sit here and farm solo ops over and over and over again, day after day, I will eventually grind my power level all the way to the top. Now, as my power level increases, I'm going to have to keep increasing the difficulty and like adding more modifiers and so on to keep that like gap of difficulty and ensure that I'm getting that higher quality loot, right? Because as I level up in power level, you can see like each difficulty is rated for a certain overall gear score, power level number, I should say. And so, yeah, like you don't have to, Destiny 1, the Forever 29, you had to do the raid to level up. In Destiny 2, you had to do pinnacle activities to actually increase your power level, your gear score to the maximum. Not anymore, right? You can do whatever activity you want, including the Crucible, right? So again, this is a colossal overhaul to the system. Now, you're not going to want to just play the exact same activity over and over again, because as you can see looking at the brand new portal, which I didn't even include in this, but it's another big change, but the portal is going to showcase that certain activities have bonus and featured loot. So you can see right here, if I do Solo Ops Skywatch, I get a guaranteed SMG for my first playthrough. If I just do Solo Ops Playlist on Quick Play Normal, I get a bonus random item. If I do the Expert Playlist, I get a guaranteed helmet. So like you can get +2 drops, +3 drops for a certain activity. You bump up the difficulty, you can get a lot of high quality loot as long as you can overcome that challenge to ascend you faster. And then you're shopping around the portal and looking at which activity is dropping more loot. Where can I maximize my gains? But again, at the end of the day, you can play whatever you want and you will progress always. No matter what you do, it is going to increase your overall power level. Just the rate at which you increase is going to depend on, again, the difficulty, the extra loot drops, all of that stuff. And the best example of how big of a change this is the fact that there are no more Grandmaster Nightfalls. Because why would there be? You just go into Fireteam Ops, you select the strike, and you can turn it to a Grandmaster difficulty yourself, or even higher. Get past Grandmaster for even juicier rewards. So again, this is another one of those things where I don't know what the feedback is going to be. It is undoubtedly a massive overhaul. It will change the entire experience of playing Destiny 2. Will people really vibe with this? Will they like that no matter what they do? And again, they don't feel like they're forced to do certain activities. They will always progress. Or are people going to miss those preset difficulties? This is going to be super awkward to find teammates for an activity because, like, wait a minute, what modifiers are you guys using? Well, I don't like that modifier for my build. It's certainly going to be difficult in that aspect. It's going to have some pretty big challenges to overcome. But again, man, this is a big change. And so, guys, that's it for the video, the 5 biggest things that are going to change in Destiny 2 when the Edge of Fate comes out. Now, this is just one of many Edge of Fate videos I have going out, so please, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button and especially hit that notification bell if you want to see more of them. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.